We did the ancestry.com DNA, but it didn't reveal anything that was of any interest to me.
I decided I was gonna drive down like 14 hours from Nashville to Louisiana to meet these people, and they didn't know me, I didn't know them, but they said come on down. And when I pulled in the driveway, like they were waiting there at the door for me. And the moment I saw them, I just like it all just it hit so hard. This started like a lot of things do when you're doing family history. I was going down one of the late night rabbit holes on Ancestry, the kind where you've got 15 tabs open and a half empty mug of tea, and you're not really even sure what you're looking for, but you'll know it when you see it. All my grandmother had remembered was a name, Albert. No photo, no story. But then one night I found him. My grandmother, Marion, had never met this man, but she remembered his name. It was one of the small, quiet details that she gave me at the end of her life when her memories started to fold in on themselves, but some of the older ones still came out really clear. We were talking about family. I was having my mom record answers for me on Marco Polo during COVID.
You ever talk about Louisiana to you?
Um, no, she never did, and we never saw any people that lived, even though she did write to people. Maybe a letter a year she would get a brother or her sister.
Or
I think the one brother was Alfred, Albert. She grew up in Bastrop, Louisiana.
But this isn't just about physical resemblance. This is about what happens when families go silent and what comes back when you finally look. So if you come from a family where stories didn't get passed down, maybe whole branches of the family tree are quiet, I know what that's like. At first, I literally didn't even know what to think. I just stared at this photo because my brain was trying to catch up with what I think my heart already knew. The man, the stranger in the photo, he had my brother's face. There was like something in the mouth that I recognized. I have it. I've actually been really sensitive about it my whole life because one side of my mouth is like a little crooked. And it's a trait that I've seen on my mom's side of the family. Even one of my daughters has it. So once I had the photo, I kind of became obsessed. I felt like I was carrying around a secret I didn't understand yet. Like I had a single puzzle piece of a puzzle that I didn't know what it was supposed to look like, but I needed to see where it led. Got to work. I started pulling census records, birth index, war registrations. I was chasing his name through time like a shadow, trying to piece together a man who had never been a part of our family conversations, who I had never met. But slowly the outline came into view. His full name, Albert Benjamin Perot, born December 3rd, 1911, Natchitoches Parish, Louisiana. By the 1940s, he was living in Monroe with his wife Una, working at a paper mill in Bastrop. Found his World War II draft card. This one really hit me. I don't know. There's something about the draft cards that are just really weird, intimate things, and I love finding them. If you haven't done that yet, look for them. They're amazing. Brown eyes, black hair, dark complexion. Not because it surprised me, because it confirmed everything that I had come to understand, and at least how my family had handled that. But I didn't know who the family was still on this side. So this is my great grandmother's brother. So I took a chance and I ended up connecting with Paige Perot on Facebook. She was his great granddaughter. So our great grandparents were siblings. And we ended up talking. We started talking. Shared what I found, and it was like really exciting to be connecting with her. And she told me her grandfather was still alive. So that would be the man in the photo, his son. And she gave me his phone number. And I knew right then I had to meet this guy. So I ended up talking to him on the phone a bunch, and I decided I was gonna drive down like 14 hours from Nashville to Louisiana to meet these people. And they didn't know me, I didn't know them, but they said, come on down. And the drive to Louisiana was long, but I don't think it was long in a bad way. I think I needed the time to sit with the weight of what I might find. As a New Yorker, there's something about driving through the South that feels like slipping into the past for me. Like the land hasn't quite let go of everything. And so I was passing through these small towns with names that I recognized from the records, parishes my ancestors had lived in, and started to feel like I was being pulled deeper in. It was such a crazy feeling, but I didn't know what I was walking into. I wasn't sure if Albert's son would feel like family or a stranger. I didn't have a script. I just had some family photos with me. We had a camera. And when I pulled in the driveway, like they were waiting there at the door for me. And the moment I saw them, I just like it all just it hit so hard. He looked like my family. And We stayed there for a long time that day. At one point, I asked them if they had talked much about their ancestry, where they came from, who their people were, who our family was before they moved to Monroe, and he shook his head. They just, not something they really talked about.
My name is Joseph Blaze Perot, Sr., and I was born in Bastrop, Louisiana.
What's your father's name?
Albert Benjamin Perot. The thing that comes to my mind is smoking that pipe, and always with that pipe in his mouth. And playing games, he played to win. He was competitive. He played to win.
He looked like.
Well, he looks a lot like me. Yeah, he was a little on the dark complected side and had high cheekbones, and his heritage was probably, because the name was some French and probably some Indian, because it looked like he had Indian. We did the ancestry.com DNA, but it didn't reveal anything that was of any interest to me.
They didn't really talk about that stuff, and I get it. I know that, especially in Louisiana, for families of mixed heritage who didn't always fit neatly, like nobody really got to know the full story. And that part hit me the hardest, because silence doesn't like just erase the facts about your family, but it erases the context of your family. It erases the pride in who you are, because it makes generations later believe that they don't really come from anywhere. But here's the thing. Even if a lot of the stories were lost, the people weren't. They were still there. You see the ancestors in the faces, in the gestures. And so maybe I think that's why this ancestor in particular is like really sticks with me. Not because I uncovered some big family secret with him necessarily, but because I saw that even in the silence of not knowing your family story, some things can't be erased. And Albert's story wasn't necessarily passed down to us, but still showed up. And it reminded me that the past doesn't need to be fully preserved to still show up. Like, you're going to see it. You're going to see it. Because it's not always about what we find, but it's about what we recognize. The people who came before us aren't just names and census records. They're still here with us. Not in a mystical way, but with us, waiting to be seen and waiting to be remembered. Thank you so much for being with me. This is part of a little series called The Color Line, where I'm sharing bits and pieces of my own family story from Louisiana. And I would love to have you join me here. And if you'd like to connect even deeper on Patreon, come on over. It's patreon.com/NYTN. Otherwise, we'll talk soon. Over the last 2 years, I've been telling the stories that often get ignored. But lately, I've been facing an uphill battle behind the scenes of each video. My videos are getting flagged by YouTube when all I'm doing is sharing real history. If these stories have ever resonated with you or given you a new perspective, grab some Be a Good Ancestor merch and help me keep this channel going. Check out nytonashville.com.